Hong Kong Direct is your weekly racing roundup full of news, views, interviews, previews and special guests. And on today's show, well, we're looking ahead to an excellent card at Sha Tin for the Queen Mother Memorial Cup on Sunday. But we're also in reflective mood, looking back at Sha Tin, because last Sunday it was FWD Champions Day.
Sprint prize, it's heading to Wellington. There's a crowd here, they roar for Golden 60. He won it!
Congratulations!
Loves only you, what a day! Vincent Ho loves only you for Japan.
It's amazing today.
Amazing, it most certainly was. We'll hear from Vincent Ho and Richard Gibson a little bit later on. Very warm welcome to the show. I'm Jeune. Please say I'm joined in the studio by special guest Ed Sadler and Swell. And Ed's Champions Day, and we had some championship performances as well.
Wasn't it a super day of racing, Andrew? 3 Group 1s. I think it was really positive from a Hong Kong point of view that we got a Hong Kong win in the Chairman Sprint Prize with a horse that I don't think we've seen the best of just yet in Wellington. A Japanese domination of the QE2 Cup, filling the first 4 spots, and was heart and mouth stuff with Golden 60, but like good horses do, he found a way to win and keep that record intact.
Yeah, it certainly made it exciting. And exciting for the crowd on course. It actually felt like a big day as well with the atmosphere there. That just added to it as well.
And I think it was special with Golden 60 that, as Mark said in the call, when he hit the front with 250 metres left to go, they did give him a roar. He hasn't had that since he's been the top horse in town. He deserved that. And, yeah, it was great to have people back at the races for a day like that.
All right. So, as I mentioned, we will look ahead to the Queen Mother Memorial Cup later on the show. We'll hear from Richard Gibson in part 2 of the show. We'll start off, though, with the man of the day with the 2 wins, 2 of the Group 1s, and he was Vincent Ho.
It was definitely an amazing day for me. With Golden 60 win again, and which we learned something new from him after many runs. And also the QE2 Cup, of course. And yeah, that's for sure an unforgettable one. And it's still a few months to go, so I need to get my focus back.
Let's talk through those 2 Group 1 wins, starting off then with Golden 60 in the Champions Mile. Jump out of the gates, you settle towards the rear alongside of More Than This. After the first couple of 100 metres, how was he travelling? How happy were you with where you were in the run?
Felt a bit, quite slow. Race pace was too slow, and he might be a little bit too fresh. He travelled quite keen. I think it's both ways because the pace is slow and he didn't run for 2 months, so he travelled quite keen. When I hit the top of the straight, I was already alongside the leaders, and when I pressed, he went. But of course, I knew he'll think it's job done when he is in front, so I had to ask him harder than normal to keep him going. But when Joe come closer and he actually go again, so yeah, which we learned something new from him.
So if this is it for Golden 60 for this season, last season he clean swept the 4-year-old series, this season he's won 4 Group 1s, what would you like to see him do next season?
Yeah, still have to discuss, of course, with the owner and Mr. Loy. Of course, we'll look at races overseas, which and then decide what suits him. But of course, we focus on the Hong Kong races first, and then plan out. So yeah, we still haven't decided anything, but we'll definitely open for opportunity or going overseas. But we'll see. We'll see how also with the COVID situation, of course.
Talk us through the win in the QE2. Then the race changed complexion with around 700 metres left to go. Moreira ups the tempo on time warp. Did your horse come under a bit of pressure at that point?
Yeah, from travel very comfortably to a bit of under pressure, but I had to took time with her because she can definitely run the trip, but sometimes she take a while to get going. But that day without the hood probably helps, and she hit the flat spot a little bit and I couldn't go that strong quickly, so it took a little bit time and start to knuckle her, and she responds very well afterwards, after the field stride. So when she catch her breath and she come along very quickly, and in a straight, that turn of foot is good, strong enough, I think.
Loves Only You, Daring Tactin out wide, Glory Vase. It's the girls, Loves Only You's in front. Daring Tactin's coming again from Glory Vase. Loves Only You, what a day. Vincent Ho, Loves Only You for Japan.
So 2 Group 1s on the one day here at Sha Tin on one of the biggest days in world racing. Where does Sunday as a day in your career stand, Vincent?
Yeah, I haven't think about that, but I'm just grateful with all the opportunities, with, of course, club support of the local jockeys going overseas to get, we still got, some support from the club to get experience, even now. So that's all it meant, experience is everything, and when the opportunity comes, you're well prepared, and that's what everything's about.
And just to expand upon the local angle then, you're the first homegrown jockey ever to win 2 Group 1s on the one day here at Sha Tin. What does that achievement mean to you, and what does it mean to you that you're a role model and an inspiration for so many other locals in the industry?
Yeah, definitely, something to be proud of, I think. But at the same time, always have to be humble so you can keep learning and to keep improving, of course. But I love doing that to, bring joy to the public, to the racing fans, and, for everyone who supported me, of course. And in this sort of tough situation that everyone can't go anywhere, and maybe getting some depression, from the situation, and this hopefully can lighten them up a little bit, and I'd love to bring them joy, and of course to tell young people or upcoming apprentices, they can do it as well. Just have to work hard.
Very humble and modest Vincent Ho there. Ed, you were chatting to him at track work earlier in the week. But he's made the most of his opportunities. Yes, Golden 60's taken him a long way, but he wouldn't be the first jockey just to be associated with one good horse and not take full advantage of it in other areas.
That's exactly right. He also said when I spoke to him on Tuesday morning, Andrew, that the opportunity with Golden 60, what he's achieved on that horse, gave him the recognition to be offered the opportunity on Loves Only You. He made that ride count, and we've got to remember too, 12 months ago he was also winning a Group 1, the Champions Mile on Southern Legend, so it would be wrong of us just to think that all of his success has been on Golden 60. He's been able to get big race wins on other horses over the last 12 to 18 months, and what he's done over the last 12 to 18 months really for Vincent has been phenomenal.
And do we know yet if Golden 60 is done for the season? The only, I suppose, real obvious target is the Champions Cheddar Cup, which would tie up the Triple Crown for a 1.5 miles. Is that still on the table? Is that a possibility still?
Have to find out what Francis Lloyd thinks, because speaking on a couple of occasions, both on the day and then a couple of days after with Vincent, he would like the horse to have a break. But when I spoke to Francis Lloyd immediately after the race, he was still keeping the door ajar for a possible tilt at the Standard Chartered Champions and Cheddar Cup, and he didn't think he would have an issue, the horse Golden 60, with 2,400 metres. We'll have to find out now how he's pulled up and if that's still the plan.
Yeah, myself and Francis might be in the minority. Everyone else seems to think that he wouldn't get it. I wouldn't run him in a King George and Arc de Triomphe for Japan Cup, but a Champions Chater Cup here at Sha Tin on his home track, on a flat track, absolutely. Hopefully we get to see him, if he's okay, after that heroics on the weekend. All right, still plenty more to come. We're looking ahead to the Queen Mother Memorial Cup on the weekend, but after the break we'll be hearing from Richard Gibson, that fantastic win with Wellington. Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Ed Sadler still with me. Will rejoin me in a moment or so. We'll be hearing from Richard Gibson in a second as well. But make sure you head to the website hkjc.com, to the multimedia showcase, and check out the new Racing to Win. Now, you'll still find race-by-race previews, but in the new Racing to Win show, we drill down a little bit more deeply in a couple of the feature races, gives them more time to expand on those. So full previews are still there, but a new Racing to Win also. Now, Richard Gibson, great day for him on the weekend with the Chairman's Sprint Prize winner in Wellington. Early in the week, I sat down with Richard to get his reaction on the big day.
Richard, congratulations again. Brilliant success with Wellington and the Chairman's Sprint Prize on Sunday. Things couldn't really have gone any more perfectly, could they?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we were pretty relaxed going into the race from this comfortable draw. So we knew, you know, once we'd jumped well, it was a question of seeing the race pan out. And we know he's got this terrific turn of foot, which he used so brilliantly on Sunday.
Wellington is wider out. It's Computer Patch. Wellington and Skyfield. Computer Patch still in front, but it's Wellington. He's loomed up. The Chairman's Sprint Prize. It's heading to Wellington.
I know you've always said that you let the horse do the talking, and you know, he'll perform on the track, and that will show you how really good he is. But inwardly, going into the weekend, were you confident as you could be that he was capable of delivering something like that?
Yeah, you're right. You know, as a trainer, trainers love talking about the horses. Don't get me wrong, but they prefer talking about the horse after the race than before the race. I had noticed, I've trained for a while, I'd noticed that the Japanese horse had a very, very tough race on a soft track the previous start. I thought that was a big negative. And then the horse had to get on an aeroplane. And obviously I had my ear to the ground when he was here. And the first thing I did before saddling my horses was to look at the Japanese horse. And I'd seen him in December and marvelled at his condition. Not a big horse, but lovely disposition and good body strength. And I must admit, I was delighted when I saw him, because the poor horse quite clearly hadn't travelled, was light in condition, dull coat, and if he was ever going to run a bad race, it was going to be on Sunday. So yeah, definitely, the moment I'd seen the Japanese horse up close, confidence was high.
Yeah, and now he's confirmed himself as a Group 1. As I assume he's done for the season now. You're just planning for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's no point running him back in 3 weeks' time. It was a pretty quick run back from the previous race. You know, we only had 20 days to recover. So yeah, we'll put him away now and you know, prepare him for December.
You've never been one to be frightened of travelling horses in the past either. I know he's just a 4-year-old, so it's a long time, and December, I suppose, is the sort of short, medium target. But would you consider, you know, Dubai or Europe or something down the track?
Well, you can guess they've got eminent colleagues in the training hut. There's been lots of Everest talk in the last couple of weeks. You know, we'll look at options, but I haven't discussed with the owner any other outside Hong Kong options for the horse.
And speaking of the owner as well, I think I read that you said that they've been with you pretty much from the start of your time here in Hong Kong. A quick word on the Changs? Yeah,
you know, and I very much wanted to say a big word after the win. You know, they were my first owners in the yard. You know, the horses, they had a PPG arrived when I arrived. So he's been with me all the way through, and you know, they're a lovely family, and both his daughter and son, Jeffrey, who's in the horse, have now got their permits. So it's great to be able to repay them with such a good horse.
And some background on Wellington as well. Where he came from Magic Millions sale originally, but how did you sort?
Yeah, I think he was, from memory, he was about a $55,000 yearling, which is pretty cheap. But look at the market that year, people would have been very negative on the All Too Hards. He had a bad start to his stallion career, but Wellington had trialled very well in Mornington. He was spotted by my team over there, and it was a pretty routine deal, very much a middle market horse.
Plenty to look forward to and dream about in the off season and to next year. Just got to find a few more to fill up stable as well. Absolutely,
and with a bit of luck, people will be listening a little bit more when I show them something that I like. So if we can find the horses on the market, it'd be great to show some new owners what we found.
All right, great stuff, Richard. Congratulations again, fantastic day, and looking forward to seeing him again next year.
Many thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much.
A couple of really interesting points out of that, Ed. The comments Richard made about down on smash, and you can only train your horse, but you've got to be aware of your opposition as well. And the talk about the Everest as well, I sort of laughed it off because I thought it was just training stand banter. But speaking to Richard again afterwards, said he hasn't ruled it out, hasn't been ruled in either. But it's mid-October, it sort of fits into the schedule, doesn't it, as well?
It would, yes. Well, on the down on smash point, he was the horse that they all had to beat. When we looked at the race this time last week, it was down on smash wins or who else wins, and Wellington was the best fit for that rival, really, because apart from being a little bit disappointed, albeit with excuses in the Sprint Cup, he was the rising star of the sprinting regs here in Hong Kong. We didn't really have a proven sprinter here. And then as far as the Everest talk goes, yes, would fit in mid-October, would give him a couple of months lead in towards the Hong Kong Sprint, and would be great to see how he would go against the Australian horses on their home turf. Or what about a trip to Dubai? I think he'd handle the Elquaz Sprint down the straight course, or even Royal Ascot. Richard went close with Gold Fun a few years ago. Would be good to see him go that bit closer with Wellington.
Sounds like you're pitching in to be the racing manager here. There's lots of options with a horse like Wellington. Can't wait to see him again next season as well. Can't wait for the weekend. It's a good backup to Champions Day on Sunday with 11 races on the programme. The feature race, though, is the Queen Mother Memorial Cup, Group 3 of the 2,400 metres. Columbus County heads the field and sort of compresses the weights a little bit here as well. The 133 Russian Emperor, big run in the Derby when he finished in second place. Shafano, last year's winner. Helene leading star, has been placed in this race for the last couple of years. Panfield coming out of the Derby as well. Joe Moreira ride him. Ho Ho Calm won this race 2 years ago. Delightful Lau, huge run in the Derby. Charity Fund didn't quite make the Derby. It's been impressive since Sabaquin on a quick backup for his last win, because significantly up and driven. Packing Waltham probably wasn't the worst in the Derby either. He's finishing sort of just in midfield. So big fields, Ed, for this. We've had a couple of small fields the last couple of years, but a really good renewal here. I suppose the Derby is the obvious place to start with the 4-year-olds coming out of there.
Yes, that's right. So the top two for me from the Derby heading into the Queen Mother Memorial Cup are Russian Emperor and Panfield, second and third in the race respectively. Russian Emperor was super, I thought, in the Derby, just got shuffled back a little bit. Sky Darcy pinched the brake. He was able to almost run him down. Panfield wasn't really favoured by the barrier draw that day and was getting to the line strongly. And Andrew, they both look like horses that will appreciate the step up to 2,400 metres. Yeah, and of course, Panfield this time round has drawn barrier 3. There's plenty more to talk about, but we're talking about Russian Emperor. Let's hear from the trainer himself. That, of course, is Douglas White.
Douglas, Russian Emperor, we haven't seen him since the Derby. How's he been?
Yeah, he's been ticking along nicely. He's obviously pulled up well from that race. I thought his trial 10 days ago was pretty encouraging, so he seems to have held his form.
Stepped up to 2,400 metres. He raced over it once in the UK in a strangely run English Derby. Do you think he'll relish the distance?
I think he will. I think his racing pattern and the way he presented himself in the Derby suggests that the 2,400 wouldn't be a problem. I don't think you can read much into the Epsom Derby. It was a muddling affair, and yeah, so I'm not going to be too guided by that particular form. But my horse is in good condition.
He's come along in leaps and bounds at his last couple of runs, but is there more to come from him?
I think so. I think that I've only just started to understand him, and he started to really understand and start to physically enjoy Hong Kong. His first 2 runs were obviously nowhere near where his fitness level and both mentally and physically were, but I think his last 2 runs where he finished second in both of those, it was there to be seen that he's improving, and he's a lovely horse for the future.
couple more bounds, he might have got there as well, but second in the Derby. We'll move on from him, Ed, because I think we've heard probably Douglas' evaluation of him. But Charity Fun, another 4-year-old who didn't make the Derby, but he falls into the could be anything category, doesn't he? Off a lightweight as well, just £113.
And I think he's also got rating points in hand. He's still an improving horse. He probably just started his preparation a bit too late to make it towards the Derby, but he's won 3 of his last 4, Andrew, and I thought that win at Happy Valley from him last time out was really tough. He looks like a horse that will have no issues staying 2,400 metres. He'll probably relish it, in fact, and I think we haven't quite seen the best of him yet. So with the lightweight, absolutely, he's a big chance.
Yeah, and I mentioned before that I'd run Golden 60 in the Champions Chateau. Everything was right. This is basically a lead-up for that, and these 4-year-olds really could step up and maybe deliver something special. Who have you got on top?
I've gone for Russian Emperor, tossing up between him and Panfield, Andrew, but I'm a big fan of this horse. He's done really well at his last couple of starts in the 4-year-old series, and I think he's an exciting prospect for the future. So I'll go for Russian Emperor to win for the first time in Hong Kong in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup.
Yeah, I think he's probably the one to beat as well, but there's a deep field. There's plenty of chances in there as well, but I'm definitely siding with the 4-year-olds. So that's the Queen Mother Memorial on the weekend with the 11 races. Back to Happy Valley next Wednesday night, and then a Saturday programme for us at Sha Tin next, which is the 8th of May already. We're ticking through them very quickly, aren't we? All right, that's it. Ed, looking forward to a big weekend of action. The Queen Mother and the Griffins are back as well.
That's right. Turbo Power trying to make it back-to-back wins, so a lot to look forward to right throughout the 11 races coming up this weekend, Andrew.
Great stuff. Thanks, Ed. Enjoy the racing then on the weekend. We're going to leave you this week with the Queen Mother Memorial Cup from 2018. And Exultant, as a 4-year-old then, won this. And, well, the rest, as they say, is history. So enjoy this. We'll see you again on Sunday. Bring all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
So it's Exultant now in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup with a mid-race move, sliding by the 700 metres, 3/4 to Prawn Barbar, who's shown the Persuader, Hapala Baby, then Goldfield being passed by Eagle Way. Doyani's under the stick now too with Rickfield as they come up to the corner where Exultant, he's gone a fair way out, but he stays on quite strongly. Prawn Barbar trying to stick with him, 3 back then to Eagle Way, followed then by Goldfield, Hapala Baby, Doyani and Rickfield, but Exultant's in full flight at the 300 metres, 4 lengths clear from Prawn Barbar. Doyani's running into 3rd. Eagle Way can't lift his legs, but Exultant in full flight in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup, 6 lengths in front from Doyani and Prawn Barbar, who'll battle out the minors, but it's a one-act affair. Exultant trots in. Exultant by 6 lengths.